All right, so, welcome to math for this Monday. I'm glad y'all can join me either online or the few smiling faces I have here in the classroom, whether they're smiling or not. So, I want to just basically talk with you um, about look at um, the lessons, okay, and there's been some confusion with that, lesson 127 and lesson 128, okay? And that would be actually starting page 253 in your book, all right? And so my goal uh, during this time, as I was laying things out and looking at the lessons and all, it was really coming out about one chapter a week, or very close to one chapter a week. So that's what I'd like for our goal to be. I'm not going to post everything for the whole chapter out there all at once. That could be kind of overwhelming. I think I do. I'll look back at it again when I get back to my room this afternoon. But I think I posted the the publishing company's videos out there, all of them for this chapter, because I couldn't break them out individually. And then I'm posting the um, PowerPoints from the publisher. My video that I'm making every day will just be out there each day, out on the YouTube channel. Some of you will be able to work a little faster, some of you not as fast, but your goal by the end of this week should be to complete the chapter 15 test. Some of you are doing okay with doing things online. This would be your first test to try to take online. And what it will look like, what seems to work about the best, is um, me putting the test out there in Google Classroom, and then having what we call a Google form that you click on and you put in your name and type in your answers. And then at the very bottom of that form, it says submit. And if you click on that submit button, then your answers come to me. And then I can check them. Some people in other grades have actually written their answers on a piece of paper and then taken a picture of their paper with the answers on it and attached that in Google Classroom or sent it to me by email or Class Dojo. Sending it to me on Google Classroom works the best in terms of the computer then knows and tells me that you've turned in the assignment, and then I can go and look at it. If you don't do it that way, then when when I see it, I can still give you a grade, but underneath that in Google Classroom, it'll say not turned in. That's causing some confusion. So I did in your packets that some of you, your parents, someone picked up this morning here at the school. I did put a paper copy of the test in there. If you do it online, you don't have to do that paper copy also. But if you're having troubles with the online stuff, then there is that paper copy that you can take the test. Okay, for anybody taking the test online or on paper, we're trusting you to do it without using Alexa or Siri or having your parents do it for you or whatever. you're on your honor system. And that's one thing that we can do here at Creekside is just trust you to do things the right way. And so either way, try to have that chapter 15 test done by the end of the week. Okay? So what I want to do this morning and do every day is kind of hit some of the highlights, some of the concepts, some of the ideas, not going through everything and all the examples and that type of thing. And you'll have to let me know if that works for you or if you need more from me or something like that. So let's start off in looking at page 253, which is lesson 127. And the big thing that I want you to see here is this term that these terms they're using of similar, congruent, and symmetrical. And let's talk about, they show similar first. So let's talk about similar. So if you're looking at your book and looking at the top of page 253, excuse me. Get a drink here real quick. All this talking and the air going through across your vocal cords kind of gets you dried out a little bit. So I don't have any diseases, so nothing's going to come through the phone or the computer at you. So we're all good. You'll see a picture, and I'll draw one up here on the board. So you should see that has 3 or 6 sides to it. So that's a hexagon. Okay. And the one in the book, you'll see another one that's next to it. Looks something like that. Notice it's the same size, has the same shape. Okay, sorry, it has the same shape, but it's a different size. Okay, it's not the same size, it's a different size. And so this is what we call similar. It doesn't matter the shape of the figure, all right? It's the fact that if it's 2 triangles, if it's 2 rectangles, if it's 2 pentagons, any of those kinds of things, as long as they're the same shape, okay, but they're a different size. Like this one might measure 2 inches, and this one might measure 1 inch. Okay, they both have the same shape. They have 6 sides, but they have different measurements. So that's what we mean by similar. Okay, if you have somebody else, you have this blonde hair, you have blonde hair, you have brown eyes, they have brown eyes. Okay, but one of you is tall and one of you is short, you're going to be similar. You're not going to be identical. You're not going to be exactly the same. And that's what similar means. And in geometry, okay, they're going to be similar. They're going to have the same shape, but they're going to have a different size. Okay? It doesn't matter about the color, any of that kind of thing. The only thing that matters is you're looking at the shape and you're looking at the size. If the shape is the same, size is different, they're similar. Okay? In the second example in the book, they have again, they're stuck on hexagons right now, but they have these two are not only the same shape, but they're also the same size. So they're the same size, same shape. Those are not similar. Those are what we call congruent. Congruent means exactly the same. Okay? So, and that's all there is about congruent, is that it's the same shape and the same size. So, if this one was 2 inches, this one's 2 inches. Okay? Same size. All right? And then that third thing that they're talking about here is symmetrical. Symmetrical. Symmetrical or symmetry has to do with, like they tell you there, the easiest way to explain it is if you could divide something in half and fold it, and the two halves would match, then it's symmetrical. All right? And so there's talks about being symmetrical, or it talks about lines of symmetry. And so it's going to kind of depend on the shape. Like, again, they are using the hexagon again. And let's just use this one here. If I divided this, if I folded it down the middle, just like that, okay, if I folded it down the middle, these two sides would match perfectly. Then that's called, they're symmetrical. Okay? This one also, I could divide it this way. I could fold it that way, and they would match. So that's also symmetrical. It's symmetrical 2 different ways. Okay? If I have a rectangle, I could divide it this way. I could divide it this way. Either way, and they would match. I also, if it's a quadrilateral like that, I also could fold it that way, and they would match. And then you have things like circles that has an infinite number, a whole bunch of different lines where you could divide it, fold it in half, and it would match. So that's similar, congruent, and symmetrical. Okay? And then if you look real quickly over at page 255, this is solid figures. And so when we're talking about a solid figure, we're talking about something like this. And obviously I haven't used these before. But here's an example of a solid figure. Okay, I'm going to get this open. Shouldn't be taking up my time doing this, but that's all right. So those are examples. You can look in the book. I think I'll skip that. You look in the book. So a cube is a solid figure. Another way, instead of solid figure, you can talk about it as a 3D or 3-dimensional. So a cube, a cone, a sphere, those are a cylinder. Those are 3-dimensional or solid figures, okay? And so it talks about the vertex, a point where sides meet or edges meet. Talks about circular, talks about curved surfaces, that type of thing. So pay attention to that. Talks about faces, like a cube would have 6 faces. The edge is where 2 faces meet. Okay? And the vertex is a point where 2 faces or three faces, or faces meet, okay, and where edges meet, okay. So pay attention to that. If you have some questions, you can give me a call, give me a shout out there on Classroom, or out on Google Docs, or out on Dojo. Okay? Hope that helps, and we'll see you tomorrow.